Hello there, this is Critical from Critical Media. Just taking a look at the 2022 North American release from Fantagraphics, Olympia, from Bastien Vivet, Florent Rupert, and Jérôme Mulot. This is actually the follow up from 2021's crime heist drama, The Grand Odalisque, from the very same creators. And what we usually do with this channel is just give you an idea of what to expect if you ever come across this book in the wild. So we usually go over the exterior, some bonus material, art and plot points, and then a brief review at the end. So, being that it is a follow up, I do appreciate that the exterior has a very similar aesthetic to its predecessor. So, yes, you'll notice some blues, some fuchsias, but also that gloss design on the bubbles and also on Alex as she swims up in the bubbles from the submarine. Of course, a very well fitting spine, nice and flat. And in terms of the exterior, very similar in that light with the stills being gloss. Meanwhile, the finish of the book itself is just smooth. And just to give you an idea of the uniform nature, you'll kind of see it here where, yeah, even down to the two tones are in the same spots. I definitely appreciate that. And also, same idea with the stills being gloss and also the matching two tone. So definitely appreciate that they have that sense of consistency. In terms of bonus material, not much going on. I kind of like with the Grand Odalisque, you're just given a few little bonus impressions from Vivet. So it kind of just symbolizes these women where, yeah, it just gets to their core essence. Basically, these women, they're just art thieves. So it kind of gives that impression of, they have that sultry, seductive nature. They have that witty, spunky nature. They have that dangerous aspect, but they also have this nice familiarity between them. And that's what really comes off and what I really appreciate about these books. And maybe just as a briefer, yeah, we have Carol, who's like the planner, the one with her head on her shoulders, the most experienced. We have Alex, the firecracker. Basically, she just lives life on the edge. She's a bon vivant. And then we had, at least in the previous book, she was a newbie, Sam, but she's the gadget character. And now with this book being 1 year removed from the events, she's far more accomplished in this book. And at the end, you really just have just a synopsis of the creators there. And nice seafoam bookends here as well. So definitely appreciate that. Sorry for the glue crack there. Now, in terms of art and plot points, being a follow up, as I kind of hinted, it is in fact just 1 year removed from the Grand Odalisque. So, in that light, I just wanted to highlight a few aspects here. Now, this is a book from European creators. It's actually from a publisher in Belgium, I believe Dupuis. And this book originally came out in 2015 from them. But I'm prefacing this because European creators, and I think European minds in general, have a much more mature, perspective on life. So, there is nudity, there is, what's the word, cursing, there is sex and whatnot, and violence, but it's all kind of taken with this, grain of maturity, so it doesn't get in your face too much. But I wanted to highlight this page because of these four panels, because Sam here is like my spirit animal. Yes, I do the same thing. If I get home and nobody's there, I just, mess around on the computer. I'm playing Tetris or chess, just like she is. And this very expression she has with victory, that is me. I'm left-handed too, so I actually raise my fist in the air the same way. I couldn't help but just mention that. But being a year removed, for folks who read the Grand Odalisque, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger where you weren't sure if Carol died or not. Same thing with these characters. So her partner for a long time, Alex, she's kind of gone into a spiral where, sure, she always lived life on the edge, but now she's a bit more reckless than before. She gets drunk, hammered, and she does very dangerous things that can get herself caught or into bigger trouble. But I just wanted to highlight this as well because you have Bastien Vivet, one of the best in the game at cartoon impressionism. Sorry, excuse me, cartoon expressionism. And you'll see it a lot with the motions and actions of these characters, like Drunk Dude. Like, yeah, I believe that action there, the kinetic there. But man, when she puts her knee into this guy's stomach, you can feel it. Like, that is really impressive work. Vive, as I understand, uses a lot of computer, but you'd almost never notice with this almost watercolor aesthetic at times. So definitely appreciate that. But like I said, being a year removed, Alex's partner being gone, it's really affected her. You see much more of a vulnerable side to her in this book. Like she legitimately does miss Carol, and yeah, you can kind of see it there, and you get that lifelike imagery. Once again, Vive, you knock it out of the park. But yeah, very on point, and yeah, you almost get all kinds of staging here. So you get a lot of his body of work here. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, one of my favorite parts is about this book is the banter and comedy aspect of it. So, like I said, Alex, she'll probably end up being your favorite. But yeah, they're just doing their first gig. She saw a sword in this museum earlier. She couldn't. She had to have it, and she does recites this whole Cyrano de Bergerac thing here, and I appreciate it because she's just messing around like a kid, very childish. And they do such a great job, but then she messes around so much that she just trips an alarm, and it's just hijinks galore. You can't help but like her. This just this childish, almost I would almost say she's an ingenue if she wasn't so promiscuous, but whatever. It's it's just so easy to like this character. But anywho, yeah, as you progress, yeah, you're getting all kinds of hijinks here. Like, yeah, she tried to threaten these guys with grenades. She accidentally pulls a pin. It's just, yeah, it's just nothing but smiles on my face as I read this book. But yeah, once again, the whole, I guess, titular nature of this book being called Olympia is kind of like with the Grand Odalisque, where it was about Ingres painting. In this, they're basically being set up to steal 3 different paintings as a form of blackmail to save their lives. So, yes, it is about, in this case, of course, Olympia by Manet. I think they have to steal other books like Titian's version of it. I think he does like the Venus. Yeah, Venus. And yeah, I guess there's a third painting. I can't say who that is. Actually, it does say who it is. I just can't pronounce the name, I guess. But yeah, that's basically the goal of this book. They have to steal 3 paintings to save their lives, kind of thing. So I definitely appreciate that the stakes are higher compared to the previous book. And as I guess an extra measure of tension, they are forced to actually have this hitman who makes sure that their job is accomplished. Otherwise, doesn't end so well for them. But I can't help but like how they play around with him. All 3 of them do. They kind of just mess around with him. Like you'll see, Alex is literally poking the bear. Once again, how do you not like her? And yeah, it's just this nice carefree nature they have. The banter between these ladies is among my favorite parts of this book, as I mentioned, where that it alone is the price of admission. Like it was worth waiting for this translation to come through, and it does a damn good job. Maybe just a few little bit of images here of Vive's work. Once again, cartoon expressionism, very lifelike actions and believability to it. Definitely appreciate that. It gives it a sense of veracity, even though at times this book can be very colorful. So definitely appreciate that. Yes. So yeah, this is definitely an excellent follow-up. If I had to grade one or the other, Grand Odalisque is better because of I guess the tension of the ending. But this is right up there with it. Like if you liked Grand Odalisque, Olympia is right there with it, especially because of the writing. They're so familiar that you feel like you've never been lost from these characters. Both of the pacings of these books, the pacing of these 2 books, they play like movies. Like I think I even made that mistake in the earlier video that I kept calling it a movie because it does feel like a movie. It's so enjoyable. But hey, it's not so much about me at the end of the day. Hopefully you get your chance to come across these 2 books. Definitely a high recommend for myself. But hey, you take it for whatever you will. At the end of the day, it's all about your opinion too. But hey, y'all folks take care, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.